Hey guys, welcome to Rush Goal. Today we're looking at an exciting topic, why Vincent Kompany may soon be fired again as a coach. But before we get started, let's take a look back. In the greatest moment of his career as a footballer, Vincent Kompany went against orders. His team needed a goal against Manchester City. He ran through the midfield with the ball. His coach shouted, "Don't shoot, Vinny," but he shot and scored. 1-0 just before the end. Manchester City became English champions. That was in 2019, and Kompany's coach was Pep Guardiola. Guardiola believes that scoring goals is more likely when you create goals, but even he is wrong occasionally. The player didn't stick to his plan, for once. Kompany won titles with Guardiola, from whom he played for 3 years, and he has been influenced by him. It was through him that the 38-year-old Belgian first came up with an idea of becoming a coach, as he says. The goal against Manchester also shows him to be an independent mind. FC Bayern had recently considered unusual options for the coaching position. A hello again with Julian Nagelsmann or Hansi Flick, a year of divorce with Thomas Tuchel, finally the chance for Ralf Rangnick, who had never reached the heights of this club. After a series of rejections and internal disagreements, FC Bayern has finally hired a coach, Vincent Kompany. That's an unusually small name. It's also an unusually brave idea to hire the coach of a recent relegated team, but it's not bad, at least in theory. What emerges from this election, FC Bayern is looking for a new Xabi Alonso, a coach who has already had success on the pitch, learned from the best coaches in the world, and then passes that on to his team. Alonso learned under Guardiola and other international greats before shaking up the Bundesliga with Leverkusen. Mikel Arteta was also Guardiola's student for 3 years as an assistant, and now he is competing with his master as the coach of FC Arsenal. FC Bayern is now hoping for this transform from Kompany, who won the English Championship 4 times. He fits the profile of Alonso, even if he wasn't quite as good as a footballer. The experts became aware of Coach Kompany a year ago. At that time, he was promoted to the Premier League with FC Burnley, and he gave a remarkable interview to the Süddeutsche Zeitung in which he spoke about Guardiola's effect on him. Guardiola's explanations made me realize why I do many things. Until then, I was more used to just doing what I was told to do. As soon as you get an explanation, it's something different. That's why my guiding principle in coaching is to be able to explain to my players at any time why I'm asking them to do this or that. In the interview, Kompany also explained technical details, such as how he understood the how and why of running free under Guardiola. The details consist of offering yourself as a central defender to the full back, not only so that he can pass the ball to you, but also so that an opponent is pulled along, so that a passing path to another teammate is cleared. Okay, now that we have a bit of background knowledge about Kompany, let's get to the challenges he will face at Bayern Munich. Number 1, lack of experience at the top level. Vincent Kompany has only a few years of experience as a head coach so far. His previous stints have been at Anderlecht in Belgium and Burnley in the English Championship. Neither team has the same level of expectations as a club like Bayern Munich. Anderlecht has struggled to return to the top of the Belgian league in recent years, and Burnley has mainly been active in the second division in England. This lack of experience at the top level could prove problematic when he is faced with the high expectations and pressure at Bayern Munich. At Bayern, there is no time for a learning curve. Coaches have to deliver results immediately. Number 2, high pressure and expectations. At Bayern Munich, the pressure on coaches is extremely high. Fans and management expect immediate success. In recent years, Bayern Munich has enjoyed great success under coaches such as Hansi Flick and Julian Nagelsmann. Flick led Bayern to the sextuple, and Nagelsmann also set high standards. Kompany will constantly be measured against these successes. History shows that Bayern has little patience with the coaches who do not deliver immediately. Despite his impressive resume, Carlo Ancelotti was sacked after just over a year because he didn't meet the high expectations. Niko Kovac also had to leave early after failing to keep the team at the desired level. Number 3, tactical challenges. Kompany prefers a certain style of play that doesn't always suit the players he has. At Anderlecht, he relied on possession and high pressing, similar to Manchester City, where he coached as a player under Pep Guardiola. However, this style of play requires that the players are perfectly attuned to it. If his tactics don't take hold quickly or the players don't fit into the system, the results could suffer, and that often leads to frustration among fans and those in charge. A good example of this is Louis van Gaal's time at Manchester United. Although Van Gaal is a renowned coach, he failed to integrate his style of play with the players he had, which ultimately led to his dismissal. Number 4, internal competition and power struggles. An often overlooked factor is the internal power struggles at big clubs. There are always internal politics and power struggles at big clubs. If Kompany does not have the support of the right people in the club, his position could quickly become uncertain. At Bayern, there is a strong senior management team. The new generation of senior management, including people like Herbert Hainer and Krzysztof Fruin, has a lot of impatience on decisions. If there are differences of opinion here or Kompany does not have the full support of these leaders, his time could quickly come to an end. We have experienced similar tensions at Bayern in the past, when Hansi Flick and then sporting director Hasan Salihamidzic did not always see eye to eye. Number 5. Media and public opinion. The media also plays a big role. Every decision is analyzed and criticized. If the media works against him or public opinion turns against him, that can create additional pressure and weaken his position. The best example is the young, talented coach Nagelsmann, who didn't always cope well with the enormous pressure to perform, especially at the beginning of his time at Bayern. Before I moved, I obviously imagined what I could expect as Bayern coach and gathered a lot of information about it, said Nagelsmann. But what you can't fully prepare for is the extreme black and white thinking that sometimes occurs. Number 6. Interference from the management. Another important point is interference from the top. At many large clubs, managers often interfere in the work of the coach, which can lead to tensions. At FC Bayern, this is not uncommon. Let's remember the time of Niko Kovac, who was often criticized by the club's management. This constant interference can make a coach's work much more difficult and limit his freedom of decision. If Kompany has similar experiences, this could weaken his position and hasten his dismissal. Number 8. Squad. The biggest challenge for FC Bayern is to remain internationally competitive at the highest level, explained President Herbert Hainer in March in a German news magazine. The reason? The financial possibilities of the clubs, especially in England, but also in Spain and other countries, would be significantly greater. From the point of view of the former Adidas boss, there is only one solution. To achieve this, we have to be creative, be alert, and at the same time, we have to preserve our identity as a club, be successful, live our values, always focus on the fans, and maintain our Bayern way. Sounds good at first, but if you think more closely about the president's sentences, questions arise. What do creativity and the Bayern way look like, for example? If you look at the record champion scouting department and the transfers of the last few years, the conclusion is rather sobering. Since the Champions League victory in 2020, the squad has hardly been able to be strengthened. On the contrary, it currently looks as if quality on the one hand and structure on the other have deteriorated. Former pillars of the team have fallen away. High-caliber newcomers or great talents rarely keep their promises. The way the team is put together also needs to be questioned. Does FC Bayern have a scouting and squad planning problem? We'll clarify that in the next video. If you liked the video, click like and subscribe. We would be very happy about that. See you next time at Rush Goal.